Good. So nice to be together, meet some new friends, and we are excited today to speak about the foundational training of short moments, the 12 empowerments training. We've prepared some slides for that and want to share our experience with that, answer any questions anybody might have. We'll also, since we have a few new people here, share an introduction to just the essence of the teaching itself as well. And then we will have time for questions and see how we do. But before we do any of that, let's just get started with a short arrival practice. That's so we can all arrive here. Some of you may have had a long day already. I know in India it must have been a long day. So if you like, you can turn off your cameras for this or keep it on however you like. And let's start by taking a few deep breaths together. In through the nose, out through your mouth. Let your body relax with every out breath a little more deeply, just naturally. Keep your feet on the ground. And just let everything rest here a moment. No need to try to be or do anything. This is just an hour to let ourselves completely be as we are. Letting whatever is, whatever arises, relaxing our being. All right. Good. And over to you, Kati.
Okay, good. Well, that was relaxing, and we'll go into the slides about the 12 empowerments, and you'll share that with us. The 12 empowerments, we spoke about that last time in the meetup. What are they, and what is there are 12 parts of the 12, 12 parts of the 12 empowerments, and they go through the introduction to open intelligence, then they and then go more in depth into how can we rest naturally. It's all about short moments of open intelligence, about open intelligence, that is our essence, the ease of our being, and how to make that obvious in our daily life. So we'll go through that here. That picture is Paulinus here in California. Good. Okay, 12 empowerments. So we can go to the next. So empowerment 1 to 3 is, I'll read it here a bit. We come to understand the root cause of suffering. And we simply get to know what we do with our thoughts and emotions and our mind that causes suffering. And how can we use our mind in an empowering way? So we recognize our true nature and our built-in capacity to be of benefit with our talents. So we recognize this open intelligence, our natural state, recognize how we can be of benefit, how we can use our unique strengths, gifts, and talents. And we learn a simple yet powerful practice that makes freedom from suffering our own direct experience. So that simple practice, you probably all heard about it in one way or another, with these short moments of open intelligence. They are very short because it's the instinctive and natural recognition of something that is already present. We'll go into that more in depth. This is more an overview of the first 3 empowerments. What would we expect there? And then we start to apply this practice while going through the 12 empowerments, or while you're here in the meetup. You can take short moments maybe even without knowing how to do that, but taking short moments throughout this hour today, and then how to do that in everyday life, that'll become more clear. So that's the overview of the first 3 empowerments, and we'll go into now into these ways of how we can use our mind. So fundamentally, there are 2 approaches to the use of the mind. So we have our mind, open intelligence, and well, you could see these 2 paths. And the first approach, the first way, here, which way do we go? The first approach is to focus on our thoughts and emotions and experiences, sensations. And what that means, and we call these data, that makes it also simple. We call everything that you can perceive, all the appearances, all the thoughts, emotions, sensations, data, to keep it simple. And so we focus on our thoughts and emotions, like we feel, say we have a feeling or a sensation or thought, and we describe that, and the focus goes on the content of our mind. And we look how we are feeling, we look how we are doing, or what we are thinking, and that becomes the main focus. So that's one way of using our mind. And that focus on data is a way of how we try. Yeah, we all know how we try to look for happiness, don't we? We seek happiness by working on ourselves to have more positive thoughts, more good emotions, happy emotions, comfortable sensations. I've always tried to get thoughts that feel free and of course good emotions and good thoughts, positive thoughts. So these here the points come in step by step. So positive states, doing good in the world, different kinds of ways how we try to rearrange what's occurring in ourselves, finding a perfect partner, or making money. These are all good things. It's nothing wrong with anything. Yet if that is the basis for well-being, then it's a constant doing. It's like we're feeling like in a hamster wheel. We try to achieve something, try to hold something in place that is good. We all probably know that in different areas of our life, because then what happens when we wake up in the morning, or then there's all these thoughts maybe about the day, or maybe also random thoughts, and the positive thoughts or positive feelings might not be right away available. So that can be an exhausting way of focusing on the descriptions, on the content of our mind. That's just yeah, so this choice, here's the second approach in how we use our mind. And the focus is placed on the nature of mind and open intelligence. And that is something about us that is always stable and clear. Okay. Something about us, open intelligence, always present, always stable and clear, right here. And that is yeah, just like a crystal ball. It is unaffected by whatever images appear. The nature of mind, open intelligence, remains lucid and clear regardless of data that arise within it. All our thoughts and emotions and sensations, whatever appears within in our mind, is an open intelligence as open intelligence. Open intelligence remains unaffected. So something about us is clear, empowered, stable, and always naturally present. And that is open intelligence. And that is what we get to know here with being introduced to open intelligence, and how to make that obvious at all times. So now it's the question, what is open intelligence? And so we can take a moment and stop thinking just right here. And what remains? And there's a clarity, alertness, power to know, openness, spacious, open intelligence, just naturally present. We can't stop thinking really all the time, obviously. And then the thoughts appear again, and it's the same open intelligence is naturally present when all these thoughts appear or when we feel something, sensations, no matter what comes up, open intelligence is present. And it doesn't feel obvious in the beginning most of the time, because we're so used to having the focus on the thoughts and emotions. So the first way of using our mind. And that's where this practice comes in, where we see, oh, I actually can take a short moment of open intelligence. It's not a short moment of stopping thinking, because that would be in the long run exhausting. But it is a short moment of open intelligence that is present while we are thinking or while we're speaking right here. It's so natural to us. It's just gone unnoticed. And yeah, when we rely on this open intelligence, rather than focusing on all the descriptions of thoughts and emotions, then our view opens up. It's a vaster view. And the natural experience of a soothing energy and clarity of open intelligence becomes obvious. Like sitting on a mountaintop. You see everything all at once, all the paths and the vast view, rather than being locked into our thoughts and emotions and belief systems that might guide us in our lives. So this is like a simple choice we make to see, oh, I can recognize open intelligence in these short moments, like this ultimate meditation, that short moment where we don't have to do anything other than just remember to take a short moment to gain familiarity with this natural state, with this natural way of being. Yeah, so we rely on open intelligence rather than emphasizing data. And oh yeah, this is a nice metaphor here, that data with an open intelligence can be likened to a breeze blowing through the air. So we can imagine the breeze blowing through the air. The breeze and the air are inseparable. Both are air. And when the breeze blows, it is the dynamic energy of air. So the data, all our thoughts and emotions and what we feel is like the breeze in the air. They're inseparable from open intelligence, these data, the descriptions. And we don't have to really think about that. But that moment of metaphor gives an instinctive knowing of the inseparability of all these data that we feel like might be bad or not good and try to get rid of, that they're inseparable from this powerful energy. They are that powerful energy, and that becomes more and more obvious as well. Yeah, like the color blue is inseparable from the sky. Data are inseparable from open intelligence. Yeah, we can't separate out the color blue and from the sky. Inseparable. So open intelligence is within us, and so we don't have to get it from somewhere. It's naturally present. It's just went unnoticed by focus on the descriptions. And so that's why we acknowledge it with short moments, repeated many times. That's like something to that's all we need to remember, really. A short moment, nothing else. Everything else is more instinctive, and when we hear it, it becomes more and more obvious. So that's the effortless way, and so that's a practice for everyday life. Part of the empowerments, the first part of the empowerments was this introduction to open intelligence and the practice. We recognize also that in a short moment of open intelligence, we return to our original dignity and benefit. So in each short moment, we press the reset button. It's like a reset to what already is present. And the reset button of open intelligence, love, and beneficial energy. So they're beneficial. Something about us that is not only stable and clear, but also naturally beneficial. So there we can see maybe the things we always wanted to do, but feel limited by ourselves, by our thoughts and emotions. That that is what is empowered. That we recognize why we can be free of all our thoughts and emotions and our belief systems. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else that needs to be done about thoughts and emotions. All data self-release. We rely on the power of open intelligence in our everyday life. Short moments of open intelligence many times becomes continuous at all times. So that's what happens, that we become more and more familiar, and it becomes obvious and continuous at all times, just in an effortless way, by taking these short moments. The effortlessness, or lying down like this cat, it requires some effort in the beginning, maybe even going through the 12 empowerments or showing up to this meetup is like an effort, but it is ultimately something about us that is effortless. Yeah, the basis, it is believed that being a good person comes from the effort involved in organizing our data and to try to have data that are good. So we all know how to try to be a good person, try to have good thoughts about someone, or when we feel angry, or God, we shouldn't feel that, or we make ourselves wrong for something we do or something we think. But in recognizing this ultimate goodness that is naturally present in human beings, in ourselves, is what is also empowered in open intelligence, and being able to live from that place. That's where then the other empowerments take it further, from empowerment 4 to 12, basically.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, the first 3 empowerments are the foundation, and as Kati said, the short moments practice is the essence of all the practices in short moments. So you will hear that many times. Short moments many times. And then empowerments 4 to 9 are what you could consider an integration of that practice into especially the challenging aspects of our life. So we, as part of that, examine belief systems and habitual patterns that have impacted all areas of our life. These might be beliefs about ourselves, things we've learned in our upbringing from society, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our life, about career, about people. And we investigate how those belief systems and patterns have played out in our relationships and in our decision making. And then we integrate this powerful practice and the key points and practical suggestions that are given throughout those specific empowerments to really step into that power that Kati mentioned of our mind, speech, and body, so that we can bring this basic goodness that we discover within ourselves and empower ourselves with those innate inner qualities that we already have. And in that, through that, find greater wholeness and harmonize challenging relationships. And it often starts with the relationship with ourselves, because typically we're the hardest on ourselves. We're constantly having these voices in our head. You could say that that are critiquing us, the inner critic, as it's called, and not feeling good enough, not feeling strong enough, beautiful enough, capable enough, like all these comparisons with who we think we should be, how we think we should be feeling. So that's at the basis of then also harmonizing relationships with other people. The more we can find that innate ease of being with exactly as we are, we can then let other people be as they are too. And we make this process the new default setting for being in the world. So we're initially the two approaches to the use of the mind. We habitually took one direction, describing our data, looking for happiness in our thoughts, emotions, getting better sensations, trying to be a good person. And with each short moment of open intelligence, we reset our system to its natural state. The humans are the only animal that we know of on this planet that is having trouble and struggles with just being ourselves. But we can reset into this natural condition that we see in all other animals. It's nice. We live here in this natural excuse me, we live here in this very natural environment, and the deer are coming by, and sometimes squirrels and lots of birds, and each one so unique and yet so at ease in their uniqueness. Like no one animal is trying to be anything other than what it naturally is, except for us humans. We have this incredible capacity to know that we exist and make plans, make goals, and strive for certain things, but then so often we use this capacity really not to our benefit. Typically, if we live within this first approach to the use of the mind, data communicate who we think we are to others and our sense of self. So, we might evaluate our worth and value by maybe our actions. Do we have success in the world? Are we a good artist? Do we create valuable things for the world? Do we have great friends? Or do we have a peer group that we always aspire to have? There are so many reference points that we've created for what it means to be a good and a successful human in this world. And because we all have that sense within us through our experience that we can't really ever have enough of this or hold it in place, naturally we have allowed fear and anxiety to seep in, because we know everything in our system knows I can't hold what I've been building in place. So there is this underlying tension and fear and anxiety, even if we're successful. I remember that when I was successful early on in my career, I always thought it could go away in any moment. Or, making more money and realizing at some point I could make even more money and I would still be afraid of running out of money. And then so often we may have allowed fear and anxiety or other belief system to stop us from a beneficial empowerment and harmony of relationship. Again, starting with ourselves, because we've been informing ourselves through the fear and anxiety, through this tension, that the most immediate relationship that we have harmed, you could say, is the relationship with ourselves. And then as we heal that, as we become more and more whole within ourselves, we can then also radiate that effortlessly to the people around us, instead of giving disturbing emotions and immense influence in our life and relationships. So this harmonizing relationships is a key part of empowerments 4 to 9. By the power of relying on open intelligence, we gradually stop avoiding relationships, including the relationship with ourselves and our own talents, as a means to lessen anxiety or fear. So we really step into the courage and the boldness to be fully immersed, you could say, in the world in whatever way that shows up. Each one of us, again, is different, like all the little birds and other animals are unique and different. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Like Katya and I, for many years, lived in a van, traveled around the world, and that was one way of showing up in the world. Now we live in a house and have more of a regular environment, you could say. So it doesn't have to be any one way. We can live any way we want to, but there is a freedom to just be as we are in the world because we're free to be ourselves. Again, that's the most important relationship that we start with in harmonizing relationships. Face everything and avoid nothing. Just imagine if you could go through every day knowing you are fully prepared to be completely relaxed and at ease and empowered in every moment, no matter who you meet, no matter what comes up in your mind, no matter what you need to be doing or what email or message you're getting, facing everything as it is, as the beneficial energy of open intelligence that is entirely beneficial by nature. So we find that everything that appears within the natural, spontaneous flow of our mind is already beneficial. The more we relax into the essence, into the ease of our being, we find that freedom in immediate perception, the complete perceptual openness in all experience, complete perceptual openness, just being immersed in the world, in awe and wonder. This is the ultimate well-being in each moment that we're looking for. That's what we've been looking for all along. Like in one of the earlier slides, with all the different strategies that we've used to create better thoughts, better emotions, better sensations, to try and become a better person. This ultimate well-being that is already, you could say, hardwired into our DNA, that's what we've been looking for. And we can tap into that essence of our being, into open intelligence, one moment at a time, because it's already innate. We don't need to create it. So, and then this process of empowerments 4 through 9 is also something that after the empowerments, when something comes up that makes it challenging to take a short moment, this process of empowerments 4 through 9 is something that you can then also apply directly. So over time, this release of where we may have felt stuck becomes, like we said before, the default setting. We find that self-release of all experience that has otherwise been challenging. And then empowerments 10 through 12 is the amplification of our beneficial energy. We radiate that into the world. We make open intelligence obvious in all daily activities. We allow our qualities and activities to be spontaneously informed by our innate power to be of benefit. We get to know our specific strengths, gifts, and talents and empower those with the short moments practice. We further integrate the ease of being into all aspects of living, working, and relating. We enjoy a lifestyle that is aligned with our true identity and have increasing assurance in our innate basic goodness. So in these empowerments, the integration, of course, still continues that we started in empowerments 4 through 9. But then in 10 through 12, there are tools and suggestions, many metaphors and instructions that can support making this, you could say, increasingly instinctive, so that we don't even, like you might realize at some point, you're not even taking short moments anymore. It just becomes this natural way of being. In open intelligence, degrading and diminishing aspects of data are cleared up and very powerful energy is released. The powerful energy of beneficial qualities and activities. Like I spoke about that inner critic before. that voice. I don't know if any of you have that. It used to be so loud for me, and it's still there. You know, that's the power of that practice, is none of these issues, you could say, need to like go away, but we find freedom within this. So the data might not change, but this degrading and diminishing quality that we turn ourselves against ourselves, that's what self releases. It's clearing out. And then that releases this energy that we can be, for example, feel anxious before a meeting or feel nervous about a relationship. But even within this anxiety and nervousness, we can find freedom and love to just be exactly as we are. All flows from open intelligence. To leave afflictive states unrejected means to just leave them as they are, without the need to do anything about them, without the need to explore them any further or stop them or anything at all. In this process, afflictive states become friendlier till they seem like friends, and then they're realized to be self-releasing. So that's a great summary there. We make friends, as weird as that might sound, with the things we never wanted in our life, like in our inner life. And then we realize we've been afraid of a monster that actually doesn't even exist. It's just a momentary appearance, and then it self-releases. It vanishes, leaving no trace. Like a rainbow in the sky. It looks so vivid and real. And the next moment, it's just gone. They are, meaning the afflictive data, are your beneficial potency. That energy is beneficial potency. It doesn't mean you just ignore the world and everything going on in it. With great discernment, you can still see exactly what's going on, and you can name it and clarify it. The afflictive states lead to open intelligence, and then resting significantly in that state leads to the inexhaustible beneficial energy and power that has been here all along. It's this recognition, the relaxation that opens that power, instead of tamping it down because we're afraid of it and we're afraid of feeling it fully. Then we allow that power, that energy to rise, and see we can be completely free within it. Wisdom is always present whenever it's needed. That's what we tap into in a short moment, our innate wisdom that is already present. But because we've been so focused on the thoughts, emotions, sensations, and managing them, we never allowed ourselves, or rarely, to tap into that innate wisdom. You're not really operating anymore from data reification. You're operating now from beneficial potency, and you're living a lifestyle of complete beneficial potency through open intelligence. Whether data are afflictive or filled with pleasure, you're able to know exactly what to do and how to act through your skillful means and insight. Doesn't that sound amazing? So that's when short moments, the full phrase of that short moments line that we often say is actually short moments of open intelligence repeated many times until open intelligence is continuous or obvious at all times. And so this slide really refers to that. It becomes obvious at all times. It is our new default way of being and operating in the world. Good. So I think, yeah, that was the 12 empowerments and the overview there. Over to you again, Kati.
Okay, thank you. And we just wanted to share a few maybe practicalities, how it really looks like. But this overview was also an introduction, but the practicalities of it, it's all it's online, and we want to go through them here on these meetups that we have weekly. And so when you have 12 parts, you can move forward. Yeah, So what you get, it's like the powerful teachings. Each empowerment has a text and with piece instructions and key points. And then there are questions and so to speak worksheets with step-by-step tools and the questions that guide you to your own direct experience. And then you have instructional videos for each step. And we, of course, support in email and on these Q&As here. We'll have also a private group in the app where we can be in touch. And these Q&As and also one-to-one and group calls as needed along the way. So the texts are online, and this text with these instructions and teachings that naturally evoke your experience of open intelligence. Just going through the process, even though that showing up and doing the questions is of course the one side of effort that is needed, and the realization of open intelligence naturally comes about in a very effortless way, just by showing up. That's all we need to do, really, and because it's natural to each one. So these are the videos. Siji Rinpoche has also a video to each empowerment, and we have each a video to each empowerment with the texts and the answer and the questions for reflection. And then we also have a recording of participants who recorded their responses. So you also hear other people's responses, which is very normalizing and enriching to hear others' shares of their own experiences. It has a very normalizing effect that we think we have maybe very unique ways of suffering or feeling overwhelmed, and then we hear others are actually in the same boat. We're all in the same boat with data. So that's just a short overview of the way it works. And yeah, the next steps we have as well. Perfect. Yeah. So next week we thought we will just have also on this meetup here the introduction training. You can also come and just listen, or you can have the text beforehand with the questions, and then prepare and go through that text before we meet, and it can be then participatory. So in both ways, and we'll send that link to that training in an email to everyone. So it's optional to go through it before or go through it here with us together. And so that's a perfect next step. And then you get to know also the way the introduction teaching is structured. That's the way each of the empowerment is structured. So, and then June 18th, that's June 18th. Yeah. You can also then, that's when if you want to join through the whole empowerments, we'll have also a link for the application and can be in touch about that too. Great. Great.